Right, hello. Hello, it's Catherine here from the Healthy Gut Clinic, and today I'm very excited because I actually have some company. Well, not actually with me, of course, because we're all isolated, but I have the lovely Amanda Cutler along with me today on this Zoom, and she's going to be sharing with us some information about her experience having recently completed the Purify Programme. Now, Amanda has a background in complementary and alternative health. So she's not coming to this completely blind, but I'm going to hand over to her now and ask her to explain a little bit about her background. Amanda.
Hi, Catherine. Lovely to see you. Yes, so I am a registered general nurse of over 20 years, but latterly I moved into private practice. So I worked at a clinic which specialised in what we call environmental medicine. So people would come to see us who were suffering from food allergies and intolerances or chemical and inhalant sensitivities. Okay. So I came to Purify obviously with a knowledge of the link between what we eat and its impact on our health, well-being, from very, very bizarre things to loss of taste and sense of smell to things that we might be more familiar with, like digestive problems. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't exactly a newbie. And then that took me to colonics, which is where I'm at today. So went into colon hydrotherapy in 2012.
Okay, wow, that's quite a background. So you and I first spoke about the programme, didn't we, back at the end of last year, back in December, and I think it's fair to say at that point you weren't feeling quite as chirpy as you are now. Would you be happy to explain a little bit about how you were feeling at that point?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest understatement I have ever heard about not being chirpy, in all honesty. So I think, historically, I've always had an issue with my weight and I've always had problems with hormones. Mm-hmm. I didn't realise how much until I've done this programme, but always knew in the back of my mind that there were some problems. But I think we accept a lot of that as, I'm a woman, we've got hormones, it's inevitable we're going to have problems with those hormones. So we just take it that we're going to have, rubbish periods or, crappy moods. And I think that's a big misconception after having done this programme. So weight's been up and down for years, but basically came back off holiday in September, put about half a stone on, and then literally in December, put another half a stone on in those few weeks leading up to Christmas. And literally in that time also developed really painful arthritis in both hands. So my fingers would crack and it was like bolts of electricity going through the joints. And this was on top of other just general aches and pains. I'd hurt my knee. I am a nurse of 20 odd years, so I've got the typical nurse's back. I wasn't sleeping properly because that impacts on, neck, shoulders. And I just remember you saying to me, I'm 46 years old. I should not have this much pain, should not be suffering with this at my age. And I think that penny dropped. But the big issue surrounding my hormones at that time as well is that I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate, I had no self-confidence, I couldn't make decisions. If anybody has ever done a night shift, the day after, when you literally can't walk through a door straight or you drop everything, that's how I stumbled through my life on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, when you came and approached me with this, I knew I had to do something. I was very skeptical. And I guess at that point, probably I just thought, I just really want to lose some weight and see if I can reduce this inflammation that was going on in my body. But I wasn't really expecting much. Like I say, background is in health. I know what a healthy diet is. I've done this before, paleo, clean eating, keto. I've done them all and felt great. I've had lots of energy. I've lost weight. But compared to where I am after the 3-week programme, that just does not compare to what this programme offers.
Wow, that's quite a testimony. Did you have, I know when we spoke about it, it's like, from my point of view, it's really difficult to get all that across to someone when they're the wrong side of it. Because you sound like it sounds like a miracle, isn't it? You're going to feel this, or you could feel like this. So what sort of reservations did you have when we spoke originally?
Yeah, I think you're right, Catherine, and it's difficult also for me to sit here and not sound like some bloody commercial for it, you know, and I don't want to be like that. I want to genuinely tell people how things were, and probably, if I'm brutally honest, I maybe only agreed to this because it was the easier option than actually having to stand up and say no to somebody, as horrible as that might sound. It was the lesser of the evils because my brain just couldn't deal. I just couldn't. I didn't have the confidence in my own ability to make the right decisions for myself. Also, you know, it costs money. My business was basically down the pan with the lockdown. So financially, it was a big ask to, you know, to put that for something that I'd never heard of, didn't really understand it, and just struggled to find the focus to actually acknowledge what you were telling me, like all this information, fantastic research, and I'm like, blah, just can you just do it for me and I'll follow it, and I couldn't focus. So yeah, there was a lot of reservations. I think just being so rock bottom with health, emotional stuff, work, lockdowns, you name it, I just felt the only way is up, really. And if this was going to be part of the solution, then let's just give it a whirl.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad you did.
Me too.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And doing the program itself, as we said, it's a 3-week program. It sort of has 3 phases, doesn't it? And I think when you're again at the bottom of that hill looking upwards, you think, well, you know, 3 weeks. I know I had reservations about my own levels of self-discipline because I'm not really good at stuff like that. And I was also a bit frightened about being hungry, you know, being restricted, and because nobody wants to be restricted. We feel restricted enough, don't we, at the moment? So how did you find the structure of the program and the support you got, you know, from, because we have a community group that which we use? Did you find all that helpful?
Yeah, so basically, Catherine, when you did explain that I was going to have to give up the first one, alcohol, and secondly, caffeine, I literally froze. I had this cold dread because to acknowledge, first of all, that I was dependent on these things to just get me through my life was a difficult thing to acknowledge, first off. And the fear of giving those things up, it literally filled me with cold dread. I felt sick at the thought, and I just, you know, like you just there, I didn't feel like I had it in me at that stage. Like you say, you're at rock bottom. I really didn't feel that I had the strength inside me that I was going to be able to do that. And like you say about the WhatsApp group as well, mentally, if you remember, I just wasn't able to deal. I said to you, oh, don't add me to the WhatsApp group. I can't be doing with pings on my watch every 2 minutes. I didn't have the headspace, the capacity to deal with all these things. I couldn't multitask for a start off. So gosh, if my watch was pinging and I was trying to email somebody or hoover up, it just was going to blow my mind. But actually, when you start the process, those things were extremely helpful. So the support that I've got from other like-minded people was fantastic. And it didn't ping 10 times a day, you know, that it didn't happen, as you said. And actually, it was very supportive. There was lots of information. There was always somebody there. If I had a question or a query or wasn't sure about something or just needed a boost to pick me up, there was always somebody who had the experience, the knowledge to be able to put me back on track. Yeah. And the whole program was just so easy to follow. A brilliant structure and so much support.
Excellent. That's great. That's great to hear. And so, I mean, obviously now looking at you, you're looking all sparkly and lovely and well and fit and healthy. So what have been would you say, your 3 biggest wins from having done this?
Yeah, so in no particular order, because I don't think I can put, you know, a 1, 2 and a 3 on this, because the impact has been phenomenal. But I can sit here and say I don't hurt anymore. So the reduction in inflammation has been extraordinary. And for everybody out there, can I just remind you, 3 weeks, no arthritis, no pain. I sleep because I've got no pain in my neck. I can roll over in bed because my knee's not locked. It's amazing. So the reduction in the inflammation side of things is superb for me. And a huge thing, hormones. I was racing towards menopause, or so I thought. And obviously, like the lack of control, the mind not being clear and focused, all of that stuff. I had been to the doctors 18 months prior to ask him to check if I was going towards menopause, which he didn't. So 18 months down the line, I was hot and cold sweats, armpits stunk like a teenage boy at times. It just awful, awful, awful things. So to get the hormones balanced, which, you know, you and I sort of assessed it all, we reckon about 80% improvement from where I was is incredible. And that kind of leads me to possibly the biggest change of my life, which is something that I didn't expect. You know, we went through goals together, you know, what do I want to get from this program? And this wasn't one of those goals, but it's probably the biggest thing that's impacted my life, in that all of these changes have meant that my personal relationship with my husband, my marriage, has now gone from strength to strength, where it was on its ass. And I'm going to be brutally honest, it was a very, very difficult situation. We were both just bumbling through life. And now, for the first time in many years, we are being open and honest with each other, spending time with each other, because I'm not this manic, stressed out, irritable cow of a woman. I feel like I've had a complete personality transplant. I'm giving off so much positivity, and it's reflected back at me, and I can't put a price on that. I think it saved a marriage that was going downhill.
Wow, that's made me go all goosebumpy, actually.
I know, I'm a bit on the verge of tears, which, and the other thing is, I'm not crying at everything, but that it is a wonderful, wonderful feeling for me, and I can't put a price on that. And it was unexpected. I never expected that to be an outcome of this. And I've lost half a stone, so that's, you know, another bonus. But it actually fades into insignificance when the other aspects of my life have now, what I feel like, turned around. So I can't praise it enough. I really can't.
That's just so lovely. It really is. I'm goosebumpy, and I've gone all silly, and I completely lost what I was going to say. Never mind. It's just lovely, though. I mean, thank you for being so candid about that as well, because that's a quite deep, deeply personal stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this is the stuff that makes up. It's like the quality of our life, isn't it? You know, we can talk about ailments and disease states and pains and stuff like that, but really, you know, our life is about, you know, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? You know, how do you relate to people? How that's kind of makes up the details, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you can't say that one part of your health is more valuable than another, because it's all of it. But we're talking about quality of life, aren't we?
Yeah.
In the end,
I feel like I've just woken up. I feel for the first time I'm actually living a life rather than just bumbling through it. And that is because, you know, I've got no pain. But honestly, I'm not kidding when I say I feel like I've had a personality transplant. To be able to think clearly and to talk to my husband about things that we don't agree about and not fall out, and come to, you know, rational agreements. And if anybody is out there, don't just think about, I've got digestive problems, I suffer with migraines, I've got this, that, and the other. They are all important things, but and all our journeys will be different. I'm sure we'll all get something different out of it, which is again why it's so amazing, because you're not pigeonholing anybody. To look at the gut microbiome and get that into a better place, and your immune system, and the knock-on effect that has throughout the whole of your body. We are talking about changes in, you know, mental health, physical health, and personal health. So if anybody is thinking about this, if you've got anything going on in your life that you feel is a negative, you've got to get on this. You've got to do it.
Brilliant. Well, that's pretty much just answer the next question. I was going to say, what would you say to someone who is, you know, struggling with their health, or feeling, you know, there's a lot of loss, a sense of loss and confusion and doubt, isn't there, particularly at the moment, you know, in the climate that we find ourselves in, and lots of people are really struggling. So I think sometimes we don't know how much better we can feel. We think we're doing okay. That's another part of it, isn't it? It's like you say, you didn't realize you'd get all those what you might say peripheral benefits from doing this program. It was like that for me as well. It's like subtle things that changed. I feel much less reactive to triggers that are right, my outer world. I feel like more I said resilient in all sorts of ways. So sounds like a similar thing.
You definitely put it in a better way than I was trying to say, but that is exactly it.
Doesn't matter, does it? It's like, speaking from the heart, that's what we like, isn't it? So thank you so much, because I really do appreciate you taking the time to share all this with all of us. For anybody out there, you can speak to either of us about doing this program, can't you? So we can contact Amanda. What's your email address, Amanda?
So you can contact me at info@vitalityandhealth.co.uk.
Fabulous. And you can contact me at thehealthygutclinic@gmail.com. That's an email, and it's thehealthygutclinic.co.uk if you want to check out the website. So thank you very, very much indeed, my darling. I really appreciate it. I'm just so thrilled to see you looking so well and being so engaged in your awesome life. And I'm sure we'll keep in touch, and we'll track your progress going forward. But thanks, Amanda. Take care of yourself. See you soon.
Bye.